Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me as always is Ernie. Damn, Ernie Orange. It's been a while, dude, since we got on. So I just want to say that thank you guys for watching, and also playoffs is getting near. But before we get started with our show, Ernie, how you doing over there, dude?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're excited to be back for this Sunday night special for you guys. We have a lot of talk to you guys about it for baseball. We got 6 games left before the season end, and we're ready for this postseason 2024. We have some big market teams finally in the mix, and excited to see how October plays out.
Definitely, definitely. Well, the show is called Dave Roberts versus Aaron Boone. Who has more to lose when it comes to the playoffs? Because they're in a hot seat, dude. And then you talk about Ohtani, Aaron Judge. Is the pressure on those two studs? So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about, of course, the teams that are making it to the playoffs and the teams that are still in the hunt because there's plenty of time in that little bit of games left that they can go ahead and make ground on. So we'll get all into that once we get our little song in, and we'll talk about it, of course. Pressure, man. Pressure for the Dodgers and Yankees, especially these two guys. They're in the hot seat. Do you think they're going to be winners? And do you feel like they're going to make it to the end of the playoff run, which is the World Series?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? You're talking about two major big market teams that have not really won in a long time. You have a Dodger team that won in 2020 in a really short season, and it's being questioned if it was a real World Series to a lot of teams. Now, you got a Yankee team that has not been in the World Series since 2009, and we know their history in baseball. They're the 26 or 27 time champions. You got to
Mm-hmm.
correct me on that. I'm not a Yankee
27.
fan. I'm not an East
27.
Coaster like that. So, you just know it's a number these days. But the pressure's on for these both managers, given that they've been in and out of the playoffs, and you're talking about a Yankee team.
Yeah.
The past 7 seasons, they've been in the playoffs 5 times, and they fell in short. They've yet to got to the World Series. It feels like every time they meet up with the Houston Astros, time is ticking. You got Aaron Judge in his peak of his career, and it feels like they're wasting his best time right now. And now you add Juan Soto, so there is no doubt they have to make some noise this year. It's a World Series or bust for Aaron Boone, and the job is on the hot seat.
Yeah.
It's a guy that he should have probably been gone since last year, given the fact that they didn't make the playoffs last season. Steinbrenner gave him another shot this year and said, "This is it." And I really hope you see it when he's in the field. He's fighting for his players. He's getting ejected left and right every other game. The guy doesn't give a crap. He's going to do anything in his power to win. And you better hope these Yankees make some noise because it's must win in the East Coast. Given the Dodgers, they've been in the playoffs the past 12 seasons. You know what to expect from them. Yes, they've choked lately in the playoffs, but talking about this year, yes, Ohtani's having one of the most historic seasons in baseball, but given the amount of injuries and pitching, and we all know how a postseason works. If you don't have pitching, you will not win the World Series. And this is the case with the Dodgers right now. I feel like Dave Roberts is in the hot seat, but at the same time, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Hey, you have all these starting rotation that is banged up, and what can he really do?
Yeah. And I agree with you. I think both of them are in the hot seat. And I think more for Aaron Boone in the situation that I'm trying to think of, because he hasn't gone to the World Series. He hasn't won a pennant as opposed to Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts has won 3 pennants, won a World Series. And of course, everybody's questioning the 2020 World Series. But if it's not questioned, it is a World Series ring. So it counts, right? So Aaron Boone doesn't have any pennants. And you just said it. The Astros always, beat them and always are there. And this year they're going to be there again. Remember, they started the season not too good. And then now they're on the West Division. They should be able to win the division probably in this next few days. Like, I think the Mariners are not doing good. They're still 2 games behind in the wild card, which they can, go and make that trip there. But we'll talk about the wild card a little bit later. But I think Aaron Boone's is more into, I guess, more in the deeper hot seat than Dave Roberts, and I'll tell you why. Because I think in the 1,025 games that he has managed, he has won 600. He lost 425. His winning percentage is .585. So that's pretty good. It's still a good stat in the East and the AL East. You have all five teams competing for that. Not like the other divisions aren't, but for me, it's the division that's the toughest. It's always been the toughest since he's been there. Even if you date back to the 2000s, you're talking about the Red Sox, you're talking about the Orioles, you're talking about all these teams. The Rays are always there. So it's kind of where his job is hard already. So if he doesn't do something this year, and he's only 51 years old, he's still young. He can still find another management job. But this is where I have the question: who's going to come after him? Is there a manager out there that can go and take the Yankees, or that wants to take the Yankees? Because remember, it's a big responsibility for him to take that job. And that's the question I have. If Aaron Boone is the one that's going to be in a deeper hot seat than Dave Roberts, who's going to manage the Yankees?
That's a good question there, because there is no other manager right now that I could think of that could come in and fill in his shoes. Now, you would have to think about another Yankee player from the past that would want to take that role of responsibility to try to take him to the future. Phil Nevin is there that I could think of, who was a bench coach a while back, but that's a lot of pressure for him. And there's a lot of guys that I don't know who would be willing to come back, given the pressure with the Yankees. There's a huge expectations, and it's a tough gig. It's definitely not one of the easy ones. You're being watched by everybody. You look at Aaron Boone, he looks stressed out every week. He comes out on the show Talking Yanks. Just want to give a special shout out to them. Aaron Boone comes out on a weekly episode, and he looks stressed out on a weekly basis. They ask him some tough questions he doesn't want to give the answers to. And, he looks stressed out, man. The guy is aging quicker than we expected because of this Yankee job.
That's true. That's true. And let's talk about a little bit about Dave Roberts, why I feel he's not in the deeper hot seat than Aaron Boone is. Of course, he does make it to the playoffs. He has winning seasons, and he's the winningest Dodger manager of all time. If you really look at it, in the 1,351 games that he has managed with the Dodgers, he has 845 wins, 506 losses. He has his winning percentage at 625. He's 52 years old. He's doing what he needs to do to get to the playoffs. Now, he does have that little bit of, bad luck when he gets into the playoffs and they pretty much choke. As a Dodger fan, I hate hearing everybody say they choke. But it's crazy to me that if we go ahead and fire Dave Roberts, who's going to take that seat? Who's going to take him to the promised line? Is there someone there that's going to be able to take him to the next level? Remember, Ohtani signed that contract, making sure that the front office is there for him. Dave Roberts is part of that front office, so maybe that's not even going to be questioned. Maybe that's just going to be like, okay, he's going to stay. That's it. But
No,
at the same time, we do expect a lot more from Dave Roberts this playoffs, of course.
you're definitely right. Dave Roberts, what benefits him is that he's a player-friendly type of guy. He has a great environment in the clubhouse, and he's proven time and time that people love to play in LA for him. Now, the question is, what is he doing with the starting rotation? Why is everyone getting hurt? Is it he the one to blame, or you're trying to blame the strength and conditioning coaches? Because if he's overworking these pitchers, he's all about analytics. So you're like, so why are these pitchers still getting hurt, given the fact that he's taking them out even early? What is he doing in the training environment that's causing these players to burn out? You know what I mean?
That's $1 million question, because I think every fan wants to know what's going on with the pitching pandemic, because it's not just the Dodgers. The Dodgers are more notable, of course, because we don't have that starting rotation that we started with. You have Glass now that we don't know what's going. He has a strain on his elbow. He's positive he's not going to need surgery, but he's not a doctor, so we don't know. His season is, or his career is in question, of course. Ohtani, he hasn't pitched all season, and there's been questions that he's going to pitch in the playoffs. I doubt he's going to pitch there, so I don't know. And then you have Yamamoto coming back from shoulder pain, so shoulder soreness. So I don't know what pitcher you have there that's not Flaherty that can help you out, because Buehler's not there. Kershaw, he's dealing with that toe pain. So it's a lot of questions. So I feel like he's been managing with what he has. He's been doing a good job. And to answer your question, I think, to be honest, is just I feel like he only has pitchers throw 80 pitches and he takes them out, and then he had a 6 day, what was it, a 6 man rotation, and they will pitch every 6 days. So they were resting a lot more than what they were before. So I think it's just the new type of baseball, dude. Like
It's
everybody's
just
trying to
bad
throw,
luck.
yeah, it's just trying to throw harder. That's what I think. That's what I
It
think.
really,
So,
it really is. It's really concerning with this Dodger team going into the postseason, given the fact that you don't even know who your starting three starters are going to be going into the postseason. Who's
no,
your game one guy? Yamamoto. Game two, Flaherty, and then game three is all up in the air.
a bullpen.
And bullpen game. It looks like your bullpen is great, but then there's question marks there, here, and there. You don't know
Definitely.
who could be your 7th, 8th, 9th guy. And that's
Yeah.
where the question why people are asking, will Ohtani come to be in the bullpen? Just give you that 9th inning closer mentality, which will be great to see. I
Yeah.
think we should see it. I mean, you pay the guy $700 million, and if he's ready, well, why not?
I would love to see it, though. To be honest, I would love to see Ohtani come into the first playoff of his career and come off the bullpen and, I mean, close some games or relief, whatever they use him for. But I just feel, to be honest, like at how the arms are not hanging up for all MLB, not just Ohtani. Every pitcher in the MLB, I feel like, oh man, he's throwing too hard. Like I feel like Skeens might get hurt. Like who wants that? He's a rookie phenom
Oh,
and
man.
he's doing really good. Like it's gonna suck, right? So I
It's
just
that
feel like
concern.
who's going down next, and that's what kind of sucks. So uh let's continue, man. I know we
Yeah.
saw Ohtani hit 50-50, and we want to go ahead and play the video here. So if you haven't seen it, here it goes. He stole his 51st stolen base right here, and I mean this is his 50th, of course, but he stole 51 after this. So in this game, career high 3 home runs, 6 for 6, 10 RBIs, his 50th home run, his 51st stolen base. He had a total of 17 bases that game. He almost hit for the cycle. Can you believe that this man did all that and then he still clinched for the Dodgers to go to the playoffs, either wild card or division, all in this game? And some of these guys wish they had half of the stats he had in that game, dude. 10 RBIs? Come on. On
This
his
was
50-50? Like, come on. That's a
this
movie
was
script.
Yeah, you're right. It was a special moment for the game of baseball. It blew up everywhere worldwide. Everybody was just talking about Ohtani's performance. You mean to tell me he went 6 for 6, was a triple shy of a cycle? You go for your 50-50, and then he hits his 51st home run. Right now, we're currently talking about his 53rd home run and 55th stolen bases. This guy's on pace for 55-55. If you think about it, man, Ohtani, man, I'm so glad what he's doing for the game of baseball. We're witnessing one of the greatest players in the game. And, we want to talk about different eras and different better players we had in the past. But when you watch Ohtani and what he's doing, we've never seen a guy have this much power, this much speed, and oh, wait, he could throw a 100-mile fastball. The
Which he
last time
hasn't
we had
done
a
yet.
guy,
Yeah.
the last time we had a guy this close was probably Barry Bonds or A-Rod would hit 40-40 back in the 90s. That's how impressive he is, man. He has that speed. A pitcher going this fast. Every time you guys see a pitcher in the base path, you know what is going to happen. He's an automatic out when he's trying to steal second. We haven't seen that lately with the DH rule, but given what Ohtani's done this year, man, it's more than impressive. I know the bases have gotten bigger, but he's taking advantage of it, and he's known how to adapt to the changes, and he's doing what he has to do. And he's showing why he's worth the $700 million. Now, the Dodgers are lucky, man. They pay what they deserve to the way he's performing,
Yeah.
What can I say? It was a great day for baseball.
Yeah, and of course everybody knows you're an Angel fan, and does this feel good for you, like to see? I mean, I don't think it'll sit well for me, but when you start seeing the baseball, because you're more of a baseball fan than you are Angels fan, like just like me, I'm more of a baseball fan than a Dodger fan. And don't get it twisted, I'm still a Dodger fan, of course, and you're still an Angel fan. But seeing this history and seeing, of course, the player that used to play in the Angel Stadium, does this kind of like feel like a little bit like, oh, it sucks? I wish I would have done it with the Angels, of course.
I mean, no, I'm not upset at all. I've seen a lot of Angel fans really upset at this. I'm totally different since I'm a baseball fan. I do realize that he's in his peak of his career, and he was only going to do greater things going forward since the fact he was not pitching this season. I was like, this guy's going to do something special as a DH. If he's only focused solely on batting this year, he was going to do something great. The other years, obviously, he pitched, so you got to see him 40 home runs and still win 10 games, which is also unheard of.
Yeah.
Every year he's doing something special. It's just he wasn't pitching this year, so he devoted his playing time for batting, and he
Yeah.
did extremely great. And what can we expect? What's next for Ohtani? He's going to earn his third MVP this going forward this year, and there's more to come.
Yeah.
And as a fan, honestly, we should be happy that we're witnessing greatness.
We are. And that's the thing. Like, I remember when Barry Bonds was doing all his things back in the day, and we kind of overlooked it because we were like, oh, he's steroids. But everybody in that era was doing steroids. We cannot close our eyes and say, oh, Eric Gagne wasn't doing steroids. Yes, he was. He was a Cy Young, and he won an award. He kept it with steroids. So why are we questioning this man's, ability to hit the ball? And for all the haters that hated Barry Bonds in that era, we miss a lot of his playing time for complaining. And if you're doing that to Ohtani now, you're gonna regret it later on. I can already see it. I can
to
already
this
see
day,
it.
there's still doubters. And
Yeah.
when he came up in the league, there was a lot of doubters about him. Like, looks like a high school player. Does it's not the real deal. He should be in the minor leagues. Year one, he shocked a lot of people in the Angels, and all he's done is proven time and time again that he is the number one player in baseball.
Yeah.
And even to this day, he gets 50-50, and he still doubted. Like, oh, well, the bases are bigger. Well, times has changed. There's not that many great pitchers these days. I'm like, well, I don't know if back then pitchers were throwing over 100 miles like they were today.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. People are gonna always hate, and you just gotta take the noise with you, and make some more noise.
If he was part of another team, they'll still be hating. I think I will be rooting for this man to do it, and I'll be happy to actually experience it, because not everybody gets to experience greatness. We didn't get to see Babe Ruth. We don't know how great he was when he was playing with the Yankees or with the Red Sox. Like we weren't there. So to witness what we're witnessing now, where everything is so diverse, where we have diversity in the MLB, when we didn't have that back in the days. Remember, it was only white players playing in that era, and now you have Dominicans, you have Japanese, you have Dominicanos, like for Puerto Rico's,
All regions
everywhere,
of
dude,
the world.
all regions. So now you're getting the best of the world playing in the MLB. So it's like that's amazing, and then we're experiencing it. So let's have fun with it. And let's not hate, dude. Let's not hate.
Hey, man, I'm still rocking my Ohtani Angel jersey. I'm never gonna
Why
get rid
not?
of it. Hey,
Why not? I would too.
It's gonna be worth something later.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I told you already. I went to the Trout and Ohtani bobblehead because I'm thinking that's going to be worth something. You're talking about Mike Trout and Ohtani on the same bobblehead, and I remember everybody was in the stadium trying to get that because we didn't know if he was going to stay with the Angels, right? And those are two of the greatest big players at the time. I know Trout gets injured, but he's great. He's a great player, right? So I mean, we need him back in the field, of course. He needs to get back on the field. So I think next year he's going to be a DH, dude. So you got something to look forward to, of course.
Yeah, you're totally right. And if you think about it, Ohtani, Pujols, and Trout were once on the same team, and they were great players, different times of their career. But Ohtani was really coming into the league. You have Pujols, which was already past his prime, and then Trout on his peak.
Yeah.
But the Angels have struggled in the past decade with not having great pitching, and that's what's affected them to get to the playoffs. But Ohtani, I'm excited for him. Like you said, this Thursday's game, he clinched the postseason for his team, given his performance. It's one of the performances that we've seen 6 for 6 games before with 4 home runs, like Sean Green. There's other games you could mention, but this one was special. I think him achieving the 50-50 milestone there, and not only clinching the postseason, that was just something spectacular.
Yeah.
And against the Marlins, thank you, Skip Schumacher, for pitching to Ohtani and for making the game great.
And not a lot of credit goes out to him, which it should, because he did pitch to him. He did go out there and compete. He did not do what everybody was expecting him to do and walk him and give him first base. And Skip Schumacher did it. He's like, I'm going to compete. I'm going to battle against him, and I'm going to throw my best guys out there and do whatever I can to make sure Ohtani doesn't hit the home run. It did happen, of course, but a big shout out to him, because he did what he needed to do. He didn't disappoint the baseball gods. He did what he needed to do, and I mean, every baseball fan is grateful for it, of course. Let's continue, man. Let me go ahead and post a video here. What happened today? Actually, Alex Cora got pissed off because of this play here. So if you guys don't understand what happened here, do you see the knee? The knee hit the ground in front of the base. In 2024, there's a rule that you cannot block the base from anybody. They need to have free access to go to it. Of course, Alex Cora had an exception to it. He's like, hey, he put his knee down because the ball was down there. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, what does he need to do? He needs to get away and let the ball go to center field. Look at how furious he is, dude. He's going after the umpires right there. He's just, I've never seen a manager so mad. It looked like he kind of wanted to rush him, dude. But yeah, I understand this rule. We talked about it at the beginning of the season, before the season started, that this rule change is gonna kind of suck, because if you put a foot, even if it's just your toe stepping on that baseline, you're gonna get called with interference, and I don't like it. Alex Cora, of course, doesn't like it. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm gonna agree with you. I don't like it at all. It's one of those calls that I'm not sure what Rob Manfred and the MLB was thinking. It's kind of ruining the game. Don't change it if it's not broken. I know they're trying to protect the players and whatnot, but it's one of those plays where you just gotta go like the old days. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Don't change it. And Alex Cora, it's an impressive. He talking about another manager that's in the hot seat. Alex Cora wants to win, and he's still trying to fight for that postseason wildcard spot, and he's gonna fight for his team to make sure they're still competing out there.
Definitely. Oh, well, let me go ahead and say this before we continue. If you're out there and you're listening to our show for the first time, hit that like or hit that subscribe. Of course, we have comments on here. We are live, and you can go ahead and ask whatever you need to ask. This is what the show is about. We do have other shows here. We do have Real Talk Real Talk Football. They're on. You can come in and get on with these guys. These guys are really good, really. They're fun. I mean, the show's really cool. They laugh. They start talking about football. I know they talk a lot about the Cowboys, but it's okay. They're good. They're good for football. And then you have the Thursday show with Will and John. They talk about fantasy baseball, but moving forward in October, they're going to be talking about playoffs, and we're excited to get into that. But let's continue, Ernie. We'll go ahead and talk about the wild card, the AL wild card, and I'll go put the standings here.
All right,
Definitely.
awesome,
Yeah.
man. Look at this AL wild card. Given today's win from the Detroit Tigers, they have now moved second place in the wild card spot. Who would have seen this coming? They're having the best second half of the season right now than any other team. You gotta remind yourself, guys. The Tigers were one sellers in the deadline. Guys that were mentioning you should trade Tarek Skubal. I don't know what the Tigers are doing. No, AJ Hinch, their manager, who once managed the Astros, just to remind you guys out there. This guy's doing a heck of a job. People were expecting them to be competitors in 2025. No, he traded Jack Flaherty to the Dodgers, traded Carson Kelly, traded Mark Canha to the Mets, and he's found ways to still win without his young core. He has Colt Keith out there, Mark Burling, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson has a lot of expectations. And what are these guys doing? They're finding ways to win, doing small ball, not really, doing the old school fashioned baseball way. And look at them finding themselves in the second seed. So special shout out to the Detroit Tigers. It's excited to see a young team compete out there. You see the Mariners still making some noise. They're 2 games back. The Twins are they're finally falling apart. They're not doing so great the second half. And then you got a race team that's still paying $500. We don't know how they're still managing to still be in the race, but they're still there. The Royals, they're competing great as well. Do you expect these final 3 to stay the way it is right now? Or do you see this to change?
Dude, I'm going to see a lot of changes from here, because you have the Tigers on top, and they're on top for a reason. They have won their series against the Kansas City Royals and the Minnesota Twins. So that's why they're up there. So if you want to add a game to that, you can, because they have the upper hand. So if you're saying that they're tied with the Kansas City Royals, you can put a game on buff because they won the series. Now, looking at what's coming up for them, that's where I need to look at. And that's where I kind of feel like Detroit has the upper hand, dude. And I know they traded away a lot of their pitching, but they still have Skubal out there. I think they're going to do okay. AJ Hinch, like you mentioned, he did it with the Astros. They got to the World Series. They won the World Series, and they did all they needed to do. Now he's doing it here with the Detroit Tigers. I think they're going to stay. The next team that I feel like is going to stay is Kansas City, dude. So I just feel like the Twins have been playing a little bit. I don't know, man. It's just I would like Kansas City to stay there, but I don't know about the Twins and the Mariners, dude. They're in there, but I don't know about the Mariners. They have enough pitching, and their pitching deserves to be in the playoffs, but they're hitting this loss for me. I don't think they'll do it, but I mean, Baltimore. I mean, we'll go over the injuries, and I'll let you do that since you send me the list. But I think Detroit's staying, and Kansas City is going to step it up, and that's how it's going to stay. For me. What about you?
No, I totally agree. Like you said, the Mariners just an inconsistency in the offensive side. You see Julio Rodriguez trying to pick it up, but one
Mm,
man can't really do it by himself. You know, you need the all nine hitters to kind of start hitting as well. You got a Twins
definitely.
team that has not performed recently. They lost some starting rotation. It's kind of banged up. You got a Tigers team that is hot, and I do see the way it's finishing here. Baltimore at first, Detroit at second, and then you got the Royals at third. You know, I'm happy for the Royals. This is a team that this went out and spent out some money in the offseason and is deserving of this. Seth Lugo has turned it around and doing such a great job. Michael Walker just as well. And, you know, I think the Royal fans are excited to see them in the postseason. Now, this Baltimore team is kind of concerning. As you guys can see, the last 10 games, they're 3-7. It's a team that's been, you know, we had a lot of huge expectations going into this season. But look at this injury list, guys. They are really banged up going into the postseason. They have a lot of, you know, Kyle Bradish out for the season. Felix Bautista, their closer. Kalum, their setup man, that's banged up with elbow surgery. Heston Kerst, that's banged up. John Means, man, you name it. Grayson Rodriguez, you should expect him soon. I think Jordan Westbrook should be coming back soon, maybe. There's a lot of concerns there going into this postseason. It's a team that, you know, started off hot in April and last season, just as same, right? But it's a lot of concern given the injury amount. And, you know, going into that postseason, the healthier, the better. So
Definitely.
here is
Definitely.
a current look of our postseason 2024, the way it's looking right now. You guys could disregard to that 6th seed there on the AL side. The Twins, they currently fell out of that 6th spot. It now belongs to the Royals. And the 5th
Hmm.
spot now belongs to the Tigers, given to the outcome that just happened today. But there's already some preview matchups here that we could start looking into. There are some matchups that may not possibly change. And you have this Brewers Mets that is a potential matchup, and it's a pretty good one there. We have Arizona and the Padres fighting that NL West, but at the same time fighting for the wild card spot, which is kind of great to see.
Yep.
And you know, this thing may change by tomorrow, man. Let's just put it this way: we got 1 week away of baseball, but this thing may just flip around. And you know, I think the teams that are in the ALDS and NLDS will say the 1-2s, but it's the other ones, man. I think they're changing and they're gonna flop. So
The other
it's
ones
a
are
lot
going to
of great
flop.
matchups.
I agree with
I
you. I
do
think the other ones are going to
I
flop.
really hope. Sorry, I really hope the D-backs and Padres don't face each other. I want them to face other teams. I do want to see both teams in the NLDS.
I think that'll be awesome because then we can probably see the rematch with the Dodgers and Padres if it's in the other side, and then you have the Phillies and the Diamondbacks. So it does look like that one flipped because the Dodgers are the best record, so that will be the number one. So they will face the either the Padres or Diamondbacks. But then you have the Mets are playing good baseball too. So it's like okay, that all those things and all those scenarios can flip up. Of course, we are still teams in it, which is Atlanta. Atlanta can still make the playoffs. They're only 2 games back, and here's the standings right here for the NL. So they're a half game, they're a game and a half back, of course, of the New York Mets. The New York Mets just won, so they're back up to 2 games. They beat the Phillies today, and
Wow.
I do see the Mets kind of climbing up. The Diamondbacks are 5-5 in their last 10, and that's where it's kind of scary. They have been playing that type of baseball where they were just playing 500 and they're staying. So remember when they started the second half of baseball, they were the best record, them and the Padres, and look at them. They kind of fell a little bit down after the Dodgers series, and they've been playing 500 ball. And I mean, don't get me wrong, this team is really good, dude. And I feel like if they get into the playoffs and they play the playoff in the playoff on a wild card game, that's what they did last year. I think they know how to do it. They know how to get there. They know how to win those games. And I mean, they're a scary team, dude. That's a team that I wouldn't want to face. And then you have the
Okay.
Padres. The Padres are the best team in the second half, hands down. Doesn't matter if you're a Dodger fan. Doesn't matter if you're a rival. Doesn't matter if you're a Giants fan. Doesn't matter. The Padres are the best team. You gotta understand when you're talking about the Padres, you're looking at the pitching staff. You're looking at the bullpen. Remember, they traded for that bullpen to be solid, and it looks like their starting rotation is their best rotation ever. You're looking at Tatis. You're looking at Machado. You're looking at all these guys that are with the Padres. That lineup is scary as hell. So, I
Dude,
mean, I mean, do you agree or disagree on that one?
I totally agree. This is probably the best Padre team it's ever been in Padre history. The fans tend to love it. They're the record breaker this year. They've attended the most they've ever attended in their Padre history. You guys got to remind yourself that the Padres were once 50-50 in this season. They were
Hmm.
50 wins, 50 losses, and they changed it around. They're currently on fire. They're 40-16 in their last 56 games, and it's a team that you do not want to face. like you did mention, their starting rotation is great, man. Michael King, that was a great addition from the Padres. Man,
Yeah.
AJ Predator did a heck of a job this offseason, and he's getting paid big money for this. And the reward is, he took a high risk by trading Soto, but he has a high reward now that he got this starting pitching.
Yeah, and they got a new coach. New manager. They got everything that they were supposed to get, and they're doing it. So, to me, that's the scariest, more complete team in the Padres. I think they're 3 games behind the Dodgers in the division. So there's a big series coming up on Tuesday, and if the Padres sweep that series, they'll be on top because they won the series. I guess the series, right? They won the series in
Right?
2024, so they're a game up. So pretty much the Dodgers are 3 games up on the Padres, but if it ends up in the tie, the Padres take it and they win the
Ooh,
division. So
are you worried?
am I worried? Definitely, dude. Why not? I
Oh,
haven't been this worried for the Dodgers in the longest time. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you because the pitching for me is happening like it happened last year, where they didn't have anything going into the playoffs. It's scary going into the playoffs with no pitching. And I think I said it in 3 shows or 2 shows before that LA fans are spoiled when it comes to pitching, not the hitting. We're never used to the hitting. And now that we have the hitting, we're not used to this type of baseball. They can rack up runs and all this stuff, but the racking up of runs is not what we're used to here in LA. We're used to more of the pitching, keeping the runs low for the other teams so we can go ahead and, get some runs in there. So I don't know, man. I'm just kind of I am scared of the Padres. No Dodger fan is going to admit that because they're not baseball fans; they're Dodger fans, and that's the honest truth. That's the honest truth. So
cool,
I
cool,
think
man.
yeah. Go
Our
ahead.
chat is full of Dodger fans. I think we got to invite Padre Bod. I think our special guest Padre Bod would love to join us pretty soon, and we got to see his take on the Padres and what he feels going into this year facing the Dodgers. And given the fact that they're look much stronger on paper this year,
Yeah,
yeah, the record says otherwise, but this series coming up on Tuesday is going to be a special one because it is in LA, and Dodger fans are going to be rowdy, and
they're
it's
gonna.
going to
Yeah,
be it's going to be intense because this one means a lot for the Padres, and
yeah,
so it does for the Dodgers. And the Dodger fans don't want to lose their #1 spot on the West.
definitely. So okay, so who wins the AL to go to the World Series? Like, let's not go through the bracket. Let's just go straight
Oh,
World Series team, or you know what? Let's just say complete team to make it all the way to the World Series in the AL.
I'm going Yankees. There's a lot of concerns for their bullpen and their pitching right now going in. I'm not sure what I'm going to get from Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez, Carlos Rodon. There's a lot of question marks there for me, but I think they pull through. I just feel like this Astro team is a different one that we've seen in the past. I feel like Bregman is kind of, past his prime already. He's done great for that organization, but I think this Padres team's a little different, man. Sorry,
Yeah,
this Astros team. And I
Astros.
feel like this Yankee team wants a little bit more. I think Juan Soto wants to be in the big stage, and he deserves it, man. He's a great, talented player that deserves to be there. He's done it when he was younger and as a rookie with the Nats, and I think he deserves it, man.
Yeah, and I agree with you. The Yankees. I picked the Yankees as well. It's
Hey,
just
that we're going with the favorite.
yeah, I think it's just I feel like the Yankees have been playing good baseball. They're gonna win their division. The Orioles already kind of fell off, like you said, with all these injuries. But it's the pressure on Judge or Ohtani, So we'll go ahead and talk about Judge. Judge, he in playoffs he's batting 211. Base percentage 311. Slugging 462. He has 13 home runs and 44 games. So it's kind of it's a pressure for Judge. Why? Because if Judge is not in that lineup, those Yankees are not the same. Those Yankees are like a team that's like, okay, 500 ball. You put Judge into that lineup, they become something different. In playoffs, he's not showing up. 211 batting average is not something that you're used to seeing from your stud. He needs to step it up. And as the pressure on him, of course it is. It's way on because you have your manager as well on the hot seat. So I just feel like Aaron just needs to step it up, and the pressure is on him. So I think it's gonna be on. And yeah, we're picking them to go to the World Series. So yeah, but I think the
Man,
pressure's more on Aaron Judge to me. To me,
it definitely is, but he's gonna in order to make the Yankees to make the World Series this year, Aaron Judge is gonna have to have a spectacular postseason, the best one he's ever had, and he finally may have it because you have Juan Soto protecting him in that lineup. So
Yeah.
he's never had another all-star type caliber player batting in front of him. So I think that benefits him a lot. And there's gonna have to be another Yankee that's gonna have to pick it up. I'm not sure who it may be, but someone has to pick it up. It may have to be Rizzo with his experience. It may have to be LeMahieu. Someone else, man. Somebody better
Stanley.
spark that offense because they really need it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, dude. I agree. And I just feel like if they don't pitch to Judge, someone needs to step it up. And this is what I feel like is gonna happen with the Dodgers. You don't pitch to Otani, you go after Betts or you go after Freeman. And you've seen it where they've walked Otani and Betts has been coming through. Is that going to happen in the playoffs? So the pressure is on Otani as well. This is his first time going to the playoffs. And why should he feel pressure? Well, he is getting paid a lot of money to go to the playoffs, right? So
Yep.
that pressure, is that pressure the same as it is for Judge, or is just a different type of pressure for Otani?
I don't know, man. Altani's proven that he could play in the big moments. You know, you saw it in the World Baseball Classic, having to face Mike Trout in the final out of the World Baseball Classic final. This guy is not scared of the moment. And I don't think Judge is either, dude. I just feel like Judge has been a lot of pressure. That New York media will drain you, dude. And I think that's the concern. After a bad game, that media will just continue to drag you and make you play bad and start thinking about yourself. You know, this game of baseball, it's a mental game as well, guys. And
Yeah.
if you start not thinking about other things, about failure, and it's a failure sport, what can you expect?
Yeah. And you know what's crazy, dude? Hitters get into their head a lot.
They do.
They tend to kind of understand the moment, and they understand that well better than, I mean, we don't play professional baseball, but we've played before. And I was at my son's game today, and I was just telling them, what do you think about when you go up to the batting plate? Do you think about what the pitch that he's gonna throw, or where they're gonna throw the pitch? And he was just like, "Oh, I try to block out the people because there's a lot of people around." And I'm like, really? Like, I remember when I used to play, and I just thought about, like, I used to block all the people. I used to listen to music in my own head, and I never thought about what pitch he's gonna throw, or this is the way he's gonna throw it, or if it's outside, I'm gonna go this way. Nah, it just happened, I guess, naturally, and I'm pretty sure the baseball players think the same way. When they don't get the way their way, it's because they're in their head, and they forget to go back to where, okay, I need to start thinking about music or whatever gets them in that peace moment to hit the ball. And that's what's crazy, dude. It could happen because it gets loud. Playoff games are loud. And if it's going to happen to where the Yankees face the Astros, oh my god, that's going to be
A
crazy,
lot of
dude.
tension. Yep.
A lot of tension. And then here too, if the Dodgers face whoever they face, because let's not forget about the Phillies, dude. The Phillies have a great team too. And the Phillies are playing good baseball.
You see
Whether
that
you
fan
think
base?
that fan base out there, it's scary. So the Dodgers did face them back in 2009, 2008, I believe, 2008, 2009. And you saw how they got demolished out there.
Oh man,
Yeah, it was scary. It was
they came
scary
to
out there in
Dodger
Philly.
Stadium and they broke the Dodger fans apart too. So
Yeah, yeah,
back in
yeah.
2008.
Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. I can't wait for October. I know it's Halloween, but it's two good things: Halloween and playoff baseball. What else do
Yeah,
you want, right?
spooky baseball.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
exciting because last year we had smaller market teams making the World Series, and I think this year is going to be totally opposite. And it's
yeah.
going to be great for baseball. It's only going to grow the game. And you guys can see, man, Ohtani being in the playoffs and Judge, the two greatest players in MLB right now. And it's going to be fireworks.
Who do you prefer? Who do you prefer at bat in
Oh,
let's say game 7. Let's say let's just put game 7 World Series. You have your top dog, and who would you want? You want Otani or Judge? And you're losing by 1 and you have a man on
oh
first.
man.
So you have to hit home run.
This
You
is
have
a
to hit home run.
this is a tough question, man. I would right now I would put my money on Ohtani, given the fact that he's proven time and time again that he comes up big in the clutch moments. I've yet to see that from Judge. He's a great player. You can't get me wrong, but I do feel like he does shrink in big moments sometimes, and I think it's just part of playing in Yankee Stadium. The pressure is tough,
The pressure is tough, and Otani
and
has been
and I've
playing a
seen
lot
Ohtani.
better
And I would
baseball.
say that I've seen Ohtani more as an Angel fan, seen him in actual games. This guy blocks out all the noise. You see fans from Japan fly from far, have these Shohei Ohtani signs trying to get his attention. This guy doesn't even bother to say hello to them. He's that locked in the baseball game. And it's crazy to me. And I feel like Judge, I don't know, maybe it's our American culture. Maybe we're just a little different out here. But you have that heckler in the back stands and talking smack to you, that shit gets in your head.
dude.
And in Japan, I don't know, that culture's different, bro. They think differently.
Yeah,
And
they do think different.
they
They do.
approach the game different.
They do. They do. And you know what's crazy? A lot of people don't understand that they try to get locked in before the game starts. A lot of people think that, oh, that player's conceited and he doesn't want to talk to us. No, he's an athlete. He needs to get his body ready. He needs to get everything ready before he starts to get into the game momentum and my mental game, because it's not just physical, it's a mental game as well. It's not checkers, it's chess. So a lot of people think if
Mhm.
baseball is easy, all you have to do is hit the ball and put it in play. Like, nah, it's way deeper than that. If you're a baseball enthusiast, you will understand what we're saying, because it's not something as simple as saying, "Oh, why don't they just hit it to the outfield so he can get the run in?" Well, try to hit the ball first,
Yep. Let me
So
take to
that's
the batting cages real quick. You try it.
exactly, and then you tell me like if you can do it or not. So I mean, it is what it is, dude. But
Well, that's
all right,
perfect, man. I like that you bring your perspective from playing the game of baseball. I know you played college ball, and you got to see how the approaches and the being up in the bat and the pressure. It's a game that is difficult, man. It's one of the
it's
hardest sports. You heard from Deion Sanders, the guy that played football and baseball, say baseball is the hardest sport, man. Football,
yeah,
you could play so many positions, and baseball, you all try to hit a 100-mile fastball. Good luck, you
dude.
know.
It's 105 now. I don't think I'll be able to do that at all, dude. I can barely stand on first base now. I can barely stand coaching first base right now. I'm just like, man, when is this even going to be over?
That cardio, Carlos, you need to get in that
I
cardio.
need to get that cardio going again. I will. I will. It's getting colder now, so I'll be able to do that. One other thing that happened, dude, that we didn't mention, and of course, Abrams, dude, and you sent me this story. I mean, you want to talk about it? What happened to him?
Yeah, definitely. CJ Abrams has been sent down to AAA. One of their young prospects at 23, a guy that was part of the Juan Soto trade back in the day. It's the guy that was out gambling in the casino, stayed up to 8 in the morning, did an all-nighter shift at the casino, passed his curfew, and got sent down to AAA. Given the fact that there's 6 games into the season, I'm kind of shocked that the Nationals went ahead and did that. I guess it's a form of punishment. I think you would have just benched them for a couple days, maybe, but I don't see about sending them to AAA. Carlos, what are your thoughts on that? I think this is a young kid that is only 23 years old. They're gonna make mistakes. They're still young.
Yeah,
He was gambling. That's his money, though. Let him do his thing. Mind your business. He still showed up to the game. What can you do? I mean, he was just a little hungover, possibly, but it won't be the first player to ever show up hungover. I bet there's been other ones, but
yeah.
I'm kind of Nationals because he's a young star. I think you just have to talk to him and maybe sit him out for the rest of the season. That's all you have to do.
That's
What are your
true.
thoughts?
Make them stay with their top team, and sit with them and coach them. And if there's no rules in your organization, or there is rules in your organization, and you're trying to respect them, because we all know that the big teams do have a big role in having influence in their players. Like, you know what, you got to respect the coaches, the coaching staff. You got to respect the ownership. You got to respect when you wear that shirt. You got to represent us. You got to represent the whole city. So if they do have, you know, something that they have signed and said, I'm going to put my best, face for the organization, then of course they did the right thing. But if they don't have regulations and they don't have anything set in stone for them, then how the hell are they going to be able to respect that? So that's where I come from. I think they need to put it out there and say, you know what, organization doesn't allow for players to be out past their curfew, because we do have a curfew, and they need to
Mm.
respect that. And when the fan hears that, be like, you know what, you're right. You have to respect that. Curfew is at 12. You got to be home at 12, and you got to be, whatever. You can stay up till 8 in the morning if you want playing video games, but you're in your room by 12. I mean, you got to respect that, right? And I'm
Yeah,
old
I
school,
totally
dude.
agree
I'm
with
old
you.
school. I'm old school.
I
I'm old
totally
school like
agree
that.
on that, but I just feel like when it comes to contract extension, I don't see CJ Abrams staying with the Nationals going forward. I think the time his contract's over, he's gonna be like, I'm gonna bounce and I'll go find another team.
Peace out. Yeah.
Go to a major city. I'm gonna go play in the big market now. I'm a
Yeah.
big name. He's a young stud at shortstop. He's has over 20 home runs already. He's proven he's a real deal.
Yeah.
And if he wants to have a little fun, I get it. Towards the end of the season, uh, you know, kids are gonna be kids these days. You know, I mean, he's still young. He'll grow up. He'll mature.
Vegas is around the corner, dude. Their team is getting up there. The A's are
Well,
close going to there. The last game there is going to be this Wednesday, I believe. Oh man, it's going to suck for them, all those fans. But it's
yeah, man.
It sucks.
One of the comments said, "But did he hit the jackpot?" I think that's a good question. I think we all need to know that answer. It's one of those where, hey man, if he's making money, why not?
He did hit the jackpot. He went to minor A. So
damn. He's gonna go to the A's, probably gonna pay for the playoffs in the minor league ball. How about that? He can help his team win over there.
And he can celebrate, drink, and stay up till 8 in the morning if he wants. So he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Plus, there's only 6 games left. So I mean, he's all right. Another thing that happened today was that the Padres beat the White Sox. And those of you that don't know, the White Sox have been terrible in playing baseball. Man. Super terrible that they've lost 120 games. They tied the most losses in baseball. If they lose tomorrow, I guess they don't play tomorrow. They play on Tuesday. If they lose on Tuesday, they will hold the worst record in the MLB history, because that's just history, dude. Yes, they're going to be the worst team, and we're going to live through it if they do lose. And I don't see them winning.
I don't either. That's an achievement, man. That's something to talk about. At least you're going to be in the history books for something, right?
Yeah, for being the worst team. Why in 2024? Dude, in the time that you have money flowing, customers, which is the fans, going into the games, trying to look at Ohtani, trying to look at Judge, trying to look at, the big players, and you cannot build a team to at least win 50 games? Are you kidding me?
That's tough. Poor guys.
That's tough. Yeah. Like, if you're part of that organization, are you going to put that hat on with pride? No.
I don't understand how you find motivation, like to go a day in, day out, and knowing that your team sucks is bad and ownership's not really doing nothing to improve it. And this is where Miguel Vargas just showed up from the Dodger trade at the trade deadline, and you felt bad for the guy. Today, he actually hit a pretty great home run to take the lead on the Padres. You could tell he felt that from this is for the Dodger fans. I'm hitting one out and giving the White Sox the lead. And obviously, the Padres came back to win. They don't have the bullpen. They've struggled with the pitching all year round. But I feel bad for Garrett Crochet. He spoke up a little bit on the trade deadline, said, made his little rules and conditions, and look where he's at. He's stuck in a bad organization going forward. And it may take a while for the White Sox to win, but, it'll be great. The story will be great once they're back on top.
But their fans right now is probably feeling like, damn, you got the Bears not playing good. You got these, the White Sox losing 100, possibly 120. Let's just say they go on the losing streak from here on out. They got 6 games. They're 120, 126 games. Damn, that's going to suck. And then Tyler Williams doesn't even look all that good with the Bears. So it's like, dude, what is happening in Chicago? This sucks.
It's a city that's obviously struggled a long time. I feel like Michael Jordan was the only player that's revived that city with sports. And other than that, I think hockey too with the Blackhawks. I'm not a huge hockey fan like that. I think they've had good success as well in the past. But given their history, man, look at the Bulls. It's also not a team that's making noise. The Bears, only known for the defense. Offensively, they're not that great. Man, I could talk sports. The Bears, yeah. And we got the White Sox and Cubs. Look at the Cubs' history. Besides 2016, 108 years. And then the White Sox, they won 2005. And even then, they had one in the 40s. So 2 teams a city that struggled, with sports. But they'll be on top one day.
Yeah, one day.
Talking about 120 losses, that's a lot, man. Knowing that they're over 50-something games, out of first place, it's unheard of.
That's unheard of, dude.
I haven't seen a worse team like this in a long time. Given the fact that this year the standings were much closer, there's yet a team to reach 100 wins.
Yeah. And that's the thing with that's why I said, in the time that you have a lot of money flowing in baseball and you have fans looking at baseball, you have a team that's going to lose a lot of games like this. It's like when we talk about the A's and them moving to Las Vegas, that's what they want to do. Oakland is not a safe city. So they want to move to Las Vegas. Of course, I don't want them to move from Oakland to Las Vegas because, I mean, we know the Oakland A's.
That's and the rich history, right? They
Yeah,
have a
and their fan base is a big, huge fan base. It's not something super small that, oh, overnight they're gonna stop rooting for the A's. No, they've been there for a long time. They've seen the A's. They've seen the orange. I mean, not the. I'm talking about the Giants. Get away. The green and yellow. The A's has always been that team for Oakland. You had the Raiders there. They have their tradition. They had their tradition now. Now they're moving to Las Vegas. I mean, it sucks. What happened to the A's, but look at the White Sox. I thought the A's were going to have that record, and they didn't. They're in fourth in the AL West. So, I
We
mean,
have Will here from the Fantasy Show asking how long till the A's are contenders, and it may take a while, but it's a team that's definitely growing. You have arms like Mason Miller that is throwing over 100 miles an hour. You have, starting rotation that look okay this year. You had guys like Joey Estes, Mitch Spence. There was guys with signs of positivity there. Brent Rooker had a great year this year, hitting over 38 home runs. There's a
yeah,
lot of positivity, man. This Ace team doesn't spend a lot of money, but they do find these pieces here and there that do trade for other future prospects. And that's the thing with the game of baseball, man. I feel like Rob Manfred, if he wants to improve the game of baseball, he has to find a way to make sure that there's a minimum of money that these owners are spending year in and year out. You
yeah,
cannot be cheap. You have to spend for the product. You know what I mean? Like, for the fans. I feel bad for the fans, like for the A's, the Angels, the White Sox, three teams that are continuously struggling lately, and ownership's not spending money. And what can we really do about it? And the fans are the ones that are affected by
yeah,
this,
yeah. All right. I know we've been jumping around with topics and stuff like that, but it is a baseball show, and we love it, of course. I forgot to ask you, and I'm gonna go ahead and ask you now. Since we did talk about the 50-50 and the 50th home run from Shohei Ohtani, if you were the fan that caught that baseball, what would you do? A, would you run away? B, would you give it back and get something signed from Otani or whatever? Or three, sell it on eBay. I mean, C, not a number. So it's A, B, C.
Man, given the amount of cameras there is these days, everybody saw the live footage of how it all played out and who caught the ball. Man, I think I would go MIA for a year or two and try to, and for people to be like, who is the guy that caught Shohei Ohtani's 50th home run? Who knows? What's his name? Where does he live? You don't know, because I would be hiding. I would delete all my social media. I would delete everything. I would go, out of the country, maybe. I don't know about all
Dude, you
that.
come on in the podcast. So that means you're going to leave me alone and be like, hey, man, I'll forget you. I ain't doing this anymore. I got
I'll put
Otani's baseball.
I'll put a mask. How about that?
You'll put a mask. But hey,
Yeah.
what about the videos before this? Like, you come out on every video before this, like the whole year you've been on here. And
Man,
then
people
all of
do.
a sudden wearing a mask.
I'll make you delete them.
Hey, I better get a chunk out of that money when you sell it.
No, man, talking about it, yeah, it's one of those balls that is worth a lot. That guy is fortunate. It's a blessing for him. He's going to be a millionaire now, given that he's caught this home run ball. It's a ball that, the Hall of Fame wants, and he has it. And I think the longer he holds on to it, the more it's worth. I think if it was another type of ball, another type of home run, yes, I would probably give it back to Ohtani. But given the fact that how important this baseball is, he was already offered $300K by a Dodgers rep. He denied it. He said, no, thank you. It's worth more than that. A lot of people are speculating it's worth $1 million, 500,000. We don't know yet. Now, and they want to say, oh, we'll authenticate the ball. We don't know. There's video footage of that, and they know that he grabbed it. So, I will take my mask off and eventually reveal myself. This is me. And I have the footage to prove it that it was me.
Yeah.
But
You know
man,
what I would do though?
What would you do, Carlos?
Honestly, I would give it back, but I would have to say, and I would try to put Real Talk Baseball on the map with that. I would say you have to give us interviews with all these players. You have to give us access to stadiums. You have to give us access to Otani and take a picture with him or talk to him. So it kind of like, telling them like, I want to come on the MLB network. I want to come on,
Damn.
different things like, things that are not going to cost them any money because in reality, they have the money to spend on that stuff. They can put me on the show with them and talk about how they feel to get the ball. Man, it felt great. Like, look, who thought I was going to get the ball? I do have a podcast, by the way.
Okay. Give you that. Say they were declined that offer. Will you ask them for lifetime Dodger season tickets?
I don't know, dude. I don't like traffic. I hate traffic. I hate traffic. uh, I would lie to you and say like I don't like going to. I love going to the stadium. It's just I hate traffic. I don't want to drive in that traffic. I would love to be in the stadium all the time, but no. I think that ball belongs to him. He accomplished something super big,
Yeah.
and whatever they want to give me, fine. I will think about it and go home and then bring it to them, and then let them have it. But I think it's something where he does need to have that ball. I know it's $1 million and all this stuff, and you know, I get it. That can make you rich, and it's kind of like hitting the lotto, right? But at the same time, why are you keeping the ball? If you're gonna keep it, have it for memorabilia for yourself. But I rather have either like a picture with him signing it, or something along those lines, because he is the greatest player to play the game, and he hasn't even finished his career yet. So
Okay.
I think
Okay.
something
Okay.
like that would benefit me and my family later on, like my kids or my grandkids or whatever, for so on. I don't know how long it's going to be before they break this record.
You're
So
right. I mean, Will says that Judge's 60-second home run went for 1.5 million. You're right. Maybe give it back to Ohtani, but ask for a bunch in return and a lot
yeah,
of stuff that would even be worth more than the ball. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Maybe like a special baseball card with his signature and a picture with him.
yeah,
All the memorabilia I could think of, I want it from
yeah,
Shohei.
yeah. I want a bat. I want a glove. I want if you have it, I want it. I want to have it.
Oh,
If
and
it's
then
there,
and then you're gonna spot me, and we're gonna go to a restaurant and go have some lobster and steak. How about that? Me and you, Ohtani. We're gonna
yeah,
talk and talk
yeah.
baseball.
You're gonna talk baseball. You're gonna tell me what's going on with you over there in Japan when you played there, and then when you came over here, you made that transition.
And
Of
with no
course,
translator.
no, 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 no translator, no translator, dude. I just feel like I said, I just think that he should have the ball, but give something to the fan. I mean, he has it. Why not, right? Was it even a Dodger fan that has the ball?
It was not. I think that's where a lot of Dodger fans were really sad that it happened in Dodger Stadium. It happened at the Lone Depot Park at Miami Marlins Stadium. And
Yeah.
it was a fan that was not even rocking a Marlins hat or nothing. He just had a black t-shirt and some jeans.
Damn.
So looks like he was just a baseball fan at the right time at the right moment, man.
Yeah. And he was probably like, man, he's gonna probably hit it in the right field, not left field. He hit it left field.
We
He
got
went
Will saying he wants 100K every year until I die.
damn. They'll make
Hey,
sure you die soon, dude. Don't do that. They
oh
don't want to pay
no.
till you. Hell no. They're gonna
Oh
be like, let's
no.
send some poison over there and have them
Oh
just,
no.
so we don't have to pay that salary anymore. Dude, don't do that. Don't do that. I think that's a bad call. I'd rather you say, you know what, let's just, get a million, and then, or just stay with the ball. Stay with the ball, and then it'll be worth way more later. You could go get it authenticated somewhere, not by MLB, but by someone else. It
We
can,
got
it can
chicks who
happen.
love baseball saying Shohei should name his first kid after you too.
Yeah, hey, you know
Hey
what,
man, the chat
Otani?
is fired today. We have some jokes today. You guys got me rolling.
Be like, hey, look, I'll give you the ball, but you got to name him Carlo.
The name of
Your first
Carlos.
kid, your first kid needs to be named Carlos, and that's it. Bam, here's your ball. And if he says yeah, let's do it. I think that'll be cool, man. That'll be cool. Let's
Man, you
see
guys are
what else.
funny. Oh man,
Well, we're here, dude.
we
We're at the end of the show, of course. But
we really are. But I just want to give special mentions to all the chat for keeping it active. You guys were a funny crowd today. We had a great time with you guys. We hope to see you guys next week to continue this postseason run with us here. And we'll have a lot of great content with you guys every week here going forward. And we're excited for postseason 2024. And Real Talk Baseball will be here to cover it. And we hope to be here live during some of the games, maybe do some live reactions
yeah,
to see how it all plays out. But or if not, post games, I think we'll try to get in after the game and give our breakdown.
definitely. And not only that, but we do have other shows on here that we're going to be able to get on to. We have the football show, and we have the fantasy show, which the fantasy show, it was pretty much done, but they're still going to get on to talk about playoff baseball. That we're planning to get on after games. And I mean, remember, they are in the East Coast, so they're going to give us that perspective from the East Coast. And I love hearing the East Coast hype their baseball up, because I like to hype our baseball. I mean, Will is a West Coast guy, so he can't hype that East Coast too much because he's still part of the West Coast. So I know you live out there, Will, but I know you still have that West Coast heart. So, so yeah, we're trying to do that, and we're trying, of course, to make sure that we get all these bases, even if it's for 15, 20 minutes. If you want to talk to us, we'll be here for sure. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and post them here, and Instagram, TikTok, X, wherever. We'll talk baseball definitely. Last mentions, Ernie, was that it?
Yeah, just if you're watching the show for the first time, well, thank you for tuning in. Hope to see you guys back, and hope you guys could join us in the chat and keep it active. We're here to interact with you guys. If you guys want to ask us any question, we're here to answer. We try to interact with the fans and listeners and make sure we make it a special event for you guys as well.
Definitely. I did see 5 people on here. I hope you guys all hit that like button, because if you didn't, Ernie's going to be pretty mad. From all of us here on Real Talk Baseball and College Baseball, this is Ernie Orange, Real Talk Baseball, signing out.